Okay, good morning friends. Welcome back to a new edition, a new class of your economics. I hope that the previous classes what we have discussed, at least we have discussed many chapters and we have completed almost 4 units of your syllabus. You can go through the units. Till now what we have covered is what is economics, your first part, that is your fundamental of economics, what is economics, why economics, importance, types of economics. Then we have tried to discuss production, what is production, types of production, what are the factors of production. Then we have clearly discussed cost, what is cost, types of cost and benefits of cost, cost functions. So all these things we have covered in your previous sessions, and today we are going to discuss about a totally new topic. So today we are going to start with your next unit. That is a very interesting unit, and the name of the unit is, your topic is market. Okay. Now market is a very common word which you and I, we are aware of what is a market. When we say market, the thing which comes to our mind is a very big place where sellers and buyers are there. People are selling something, buying something, and there is a big crowd of people. That is what is market, what we have observed right from childhood. Okay. But in economics, the definition and concept of market is quite different. No doubt market is a place where buyers and sellers meet together for some business transaction. Now what is that business transaction is? Buyers are ready to pay something and buy the products. Sellers are there to sell their products. Now it could be their products or it could be their services. So when we are saying market is a common place where buyers sellers are together present. They are into some kind of business transaction, business interaction, and they are into a serious mode of business. Okay. Now this market, when we are saying market, it could be a physical market or virtual. Now how virtual? See, nowadays we are talking about a lot of online shopping. So online shopping, we are not going to the market. Okay. Nor we are going to bargain the products, nor I am personally or physically going to buy the products. What happens in online marketing is, or online shopping is, we view the products and numerous products in the website. Whatever products suits to us, to our budget, or we like that product, we place the order in the website, in the your Flipkart, Myntra. There are so many websites. Then we order the product. Suppose there is a system of cash on delivery, COD, we pay the product after we receive, or suppose you are interested to pay online, you pay online and you get the product. So this is how the definition of market is slowly changing. Now today we are talking about a virtual market. Virtual market means physically there is no market, okay, nor you have to visit a market, but still there is some kind of serious business activity or business transaction. Okay. So this is what I am saying about it, very literal or very common meaning of market which you and I know. Now let us today discuss in economics what does this market mean, what are the types. Like what we are going to discuss here is, we are going to discuss the meaning of market, okay. Then we are going to discuss the types of market. Is it clear? And then we are going to discuss about, this is very important, perfect competition and imperfect competition. Imperfect competition. Is it clear? So in this particular topic or in this particular unit, we are going to cover these 4 parts. What are they? We are going to discuss the meaning of market. Then we are going to discuss the types of market. Then we are going to talk about perfect competition and imperfect competition. Now let us try to understand the meaning. What is exactly a market? Okay, meaning. Okay, what is market? Market is the means by which there is exchange of goods and services takes place as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact. So try to understand the definition. Here it says that it is a place where, okay, exchange of goods and services takes place. Exchange of goods and services takes place. Okay, exchange of goods and services takes place, and as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact, as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact with each other. Okay, so this is the definition or meaning of market. Now you look at the definition. Now what the definition says, that market is a place where there is exchange, there is exchange of goods and services takes place as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact with each other. So you see, according to the definition of market, as I told you, market is a physical place, or market is a place where buyers and sellers are together, some kind of exchange of goods and services there. Those who are buying the goods, they have to pay a price. Those who are selling the goods, they are receiving some amount against the price of the products or the services. So what is a market? Exactly in economics we define market is a place where there is exchange of goods and services, which takes place as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact, with each other. So this is how we can define market. Okay. So I hope the definition of market is very clear. Remember, there are two important points when you are understanding market. One is, keep in mind that market is actually a place where buyers and sellers are in contact, and there is some exchange of goods and services. But please remember, when we are talking about exchange of goods and services, there a price has to be paid by the buyer. Because, for example, suppose I am going to the market to buy vegetables, I have to pay an amount, say 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 40 rupees or 100 rupees to buy some vegetable. So you are paying a price for the particular product, and you are getting the product from the seller, from the buyer. Okay, you are the buyer and you are getting from the seller. So seller is always there to sell off his products or services. As a buyer or as a customer, you go to the market where there are some goods or services, you pay a certain price, avail the facility and get the product for yourself. So this is actually what is market all about. Is it clear? Now let us discuss what are the different types of market. Okay, here we will talk about types of market. Okay, now what are types of market? Here we can discuss types of market. Okay, what are types of market? Now, see, market can be defined in various forms, and we can define market in various, based on various, what I can say is basis, we can classify the market into different types. Now, the first basis is based on the locality, okay, area or local. Types of market first is on the basis of locality, or area. Locality or area. Now, on the basis of locality or area, we can further define market into three different types. Okay. Now, what is the basis here? Here we are trying to differentiate market on the basis of locality or the area. Now, locality or area means depending upon the local, whether it is locally or it is nationally or international. So, here we have three important divisions. One, we have the local market. Okay. Then we have the national market. And third, we have the international market. Okay, so based on the locality, we have three important types of market. What are the three important types? One is the local market, one is the national market, and one is the international market. Now let us try to understand what is local. Now what is local market? Now suppose I am staying in a particular, suppose for example I am staying in a village. Now in the village there will be a local market where vegetables or groceries or necessary items will be. So that is your local market which is situated in your locality. Like near to your house or near to your colony there is a market. Okay, whether it is a small or big market it is immaterial, but you have a local market where you can access or where you have accessibility and you can buy the products as and when required by visiting that particular local market. So local market is a very common phenomenon, it is found everywhere. Then comes your national market. Now when we are talking about national market, we are talking about a market which is on a larger basis, like the locality is much larger compared to the local market. And when we are talking about the national market, like here we are talking about market for wheat, market for rice, market for cotton, or market for sugar, or market for some special goods. So in that we call it as a national market. So when I am saying national market has a very big horizon or a very big score, or the coverage area is much larger than the local market, because here we are talking about a market which is nationally recognized. The goods and services are much more bigger, you have more choices, and here we get the services and products of those goods or those things we are available which is required at the national level. Therefore I told you example maybe your requirement for cotton, wheat, rice. So these are all being sold in the national market. Okay, like our national, in India we have a national market of our own country. Then comes your international market. See, international market is that market where we are talking about a market which crosses the boundary or the limit of your national boundaries. Now when we are talking about international market, it is beyond your country. Like for example, you take the example of a material gold. See, gold is a particular product which has international market all over. Like you see compare, sometimes the gold rates will be fluctuating, sometimes it will be very high or sometimes very low. So that affects our national market also. So certain goods are there which are like gold, silver, they have a very big international market also. So international market means when the particular product is being transacted or when the particular product is sold across the boundary of the country and throughout the entire world, then we call it as an international market. And international market, the best example could be your gold, because gold is a particular metal or gold is a particular product which we are always acquainted with. We buy gold and you see the prices of golds are being fluctuating in the international market. Okay, and that has an impact on a national market also. So on the basis of area locality, we have discussed that market could be divided in three types, that is local market, national market and your international. Local market is that market which is nearby to your place or home. Okay, just suppose I am staying in a particular place, just near my local area there is some local market, people are vendors are there, vegetables are sold, grocery are sold, that is a local market. National market is when I am talking at the national level for the products like wheat, rice and other products. Then we have international market, means the products which are, we are talking about those products which are worldwide recognized or which are sold throughout the world and have impact on the national market also. So for example, I told you gold may be considered as a very good product for the international market. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us discuss further the second type of market. What is the second? Based on the time element. Okay, on the basis of time element. Okay, so on the basis of time element, we have four again divisions like very short period, 3 very short period, and long period. Okay, we have very short period, then we have short period, and we have long period. Is it clear? So, the first kind of market which we have discussed, the first kind of basis was on the basis of your area. So, we had, or the locality. So, there we had 3 different types of market: local market, national market, international. Now, we are discussing the meaning or the types of market which is based on the time element, like very short period, and long period. Now, suppose we are taking very short period. Very short period means a market which is only available for those goods or products which are perishable. The perishable products means the products which are subjected to spoil. Say for example, fruits, milk products, they will spoil very fast, especially in summer. If you are not taking care of, if you are not putting the vegetables, fruits and milk products into the refrigerator, they will get spoiled. So what happens sometimes, market is only for a very short duration, because the products which are sold in this short duration market, they may be subjected to either they will spoil or they are not going to stay for a longer, means they are perishable in nature. For that we say that it is a very short period. Very short. Then we have short period market, that is like based upon this is based upon the season. Now how? For example, during winter there are certain vegetables which grow only in winter. So like cauliflower, or you see cabbage, they are very abundantly, or peas, they are very abundantly found in the winter. This is a winter vegetation. So for that we have a short period, like you get those products or those kind of vegetables only for the winter. So it is a short period. Okay. And long period means those products and services which are available throughout. Okay. Like you see, take for example potato, tomato, these vegetables are available throughout, so they have a long period. Okay. So on the basis of time element, we have very short period market, we have short period market, and we have long period. Now what is the main categorization, or what is the main element here is that here we are trying to understand the market based on the what? Based on the time frame only. Either it is very short or long period. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us move further. Now on the basis of competition. Now very important third categorization is on the basis of competition. Is it clear? So our first division was what? Based on locality. We had local market, national, international market. Then we had second one based on the time frame, very short period, long period. And now we have on the basis of competition, we have 2 different and very important types of market, that is perfect market or imperfect. Perfect market we call as perfect market, and another is imperfect market. We call this perfect competition also here, and here we call imperfect competition. Is it clear? So on the basis of the competition, we have 2 different types of market, and they are very important concepts. You have to understand this. One is the perfect market, one is imperfect. Perfect and imperfect. So now let us discuss in details what actually means by the perfect and imperfect market. So first let us discuss about the perfect market. So I hope till now it is clear. Till now what we have discussed is what is market. Market is a place where there is exchange of goods and services, where buyers and sellers are together and are in contact. So that is a market. Now again, market is divided into different types based upon your locality or area, based upon time, and based upon competition. Based upon locality area, we have local market, national market, international. Based upon time, we have very short period, long period. And based on competition, we have two important types of market, that is a perfect market and imperfect market. So now let us discuss the perfect market, which plays a very important role, and perfect market is a very important concept which you have to understand. Okay, so let us first discuss the perfect market. Perfect market. Are you getting my point? Now let us discuss perfect market. Okay, now let us first try to understand the meaning of perfect market. Is a market where there are many buyers and sellers selling the homogeneous products, and no one can influence or make an impact on the price of the product, and every person has the knowledge about the product. Now please try to understand. I will try to make it more simplified. Perfect market is a market having many buyers and sellers, with homogeneous products, similar, homogeneous means similar, homogeneous products. Okay, no one can influence the price, and everyone has knowledge of the product. Okay, now you just see the definition of the perfect market. See, perfect market is a market having many buyers and sellers with homogeneous products. If they are selling homogeneous products, no one can influence the price, and everyone has the knowledge of the product. Now this thing is very peculiar of the perfect market, and why it is called a perfect market, because one of the striking features here is the perfect market has it is a place or a market where no doubt many buyers and sellers are present. They are selling homogeneous. Now I will tell you what is homogeneous product here. Homogeneous products means similar kind of products are sold. Okay, homogeneous, we have two terms, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous means selling your similar products, heterogeneous means selling different kinds of products. So here the buyers and sellers are into a process where they are selling homogeneous products, and no one can influence the price. Like it is said that the price of the products which are fixed in a perfect market will not be subjected to any kind of change. That means the price will remain same throughout, and every person who is a part and parcel of the perfect market has an idea or knowledge of the product and the price. Are you getting my point? So this is how the perfect market operates, and now let us discuss some of the features. This I will put some of the features of perfect market. Let us here discuss the features of perfect market. Okay, now let us discuss features. The first important feature is there are large, you can note it down, large number of buyers and sellers. That is first important point, large number of buyers and sellers. Then homogeneous commodity, or products. Okay, homogeneous means I told you similar. Homogeneous means same kind. Then we have, there is a entry and exit. There is entry and exit. Okay, and there is a mobility of factors of production. Next feature is mobility of factors of production, mobility factors of production, and there is absence of your transport cost, very important feature, absence of transport cost. I'll explain all the points. It's absence of transport cost. And the last one is perfect knowledge of market. That I told you, everyone has a perfect knowledge of market. Knowledge of market. Okay, now you see the features. We have already discussed the definition. What I have told you that a perfect market is a market having many buyers and sellers with homogeneous products. No one can influence the price and everyone has the knowledge of the product. Now coming to the features, you see the features I have clearly noted down, and we have derived the features from the definition. The most important feature here is there are large number of buyers and sellers. So in a perfect market you will find that there are large numbers of buyers and sellers. Then homogeneous products or commodities are sold here. Homogeneous means similar types, similar kinds of products and commodities are sold. That is a very important point. Then there is an entry and exit. Okay. Now people who are selling the products, they are known as the sellers. They have an entry and exit. Like there is a fixed timing and there is a fixed agenda for entry. Anyone cannot just enter into the market and go into a business process or business. So there are some rules and regulations for entry and exit. Then mobility of factors of production. Like the factors of production, there is a chance of mobility of factors. What are the factors of production? Which we have already covered. They are the factors of production in land, capital, labor. So there is mobility of factors of production. Then absence of transport cost. Why we are saying here that there is absence of transport cost? Because all the products are available at a particular place and homogeneous kind of product. So there is no question of adding any transport cost. Products are directly sold to the customers or to the buyers who are coming to buy the products. And the last one is perfect knowledge. Each person in the market has the perfect knowledge of the market regarding the price, what are the products available, what are the services. So everyone is having the price. Okay, price knowledge is there, and even they have the product knowledge. Now one thing comes to mind, that in a perfect market, how price is determined. Say for example, suppose in a perfect market, a person is selling vegetables. Suppose he is selling only potatoes. Now how to fix the price of potatoes? Okay, whether potatoes will be sold at 10 rupees per kg or 30 rupees or 40, how to determine the price? Okay, that is a very important question. Or say for example, somebody is selling mushrooms. Now what is the cost? What should be the cost of mushroom? Whether it should be 100 rupees per kg or it should be 150 or 200. Okay, so this question comes that how, now the question arises that how to determine the price of the product in a perfect market, where we are saying that there are n number of buyers and sellers, and another important point is that they are selling homogeneous products, and each person is having a knowledge on the product and the other aspects. Now in this condition, how they price, I hope that you are getting my point. I am talking about that how the price of a particular product can be fixed, especially in a perfect market. So now let us discuss that part. Okay, price determination in a perfect market. I hope the features are clear. Okay. Now we will discuss price determination in a perfect market. Price, just give the heading, price determination in a perfect market. Okay, now we have three columns here. One is your price, then quantity and quality. So let us first draw this. The first column is your price. I get my point. First column is your price, then quantity demanded. Okay, quantity demanded, and next is quantity supplied. Okay, quantity supplied. So these are the three columns by which we will try to understand the what? We are going to try to understand that how price is determined in a perfect market. Now suppose we say the price like now you see the table here. Now the first column identifies the price. Okay, the first column identifies the price, second column talks about the quantity demanded, and the third column talks about the quantity supplied. Now demand is always created from the customer side, this I have told you many a times, and the quantity supply is generated by the producer or the person who is selling the product. Now see, you see price, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quantity demanded. See, first the quantity demand was 50, then it has reduced 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Now quantity supplied, you say, when it was demand was 50, supply was 10, then 20, 30, 40, 50. Now you see, in this particular table, we see that how to now fix the price. Okay. Now in a perfect market, remember that price will be fixed only when there is a state of equilibrium. Now what is the state of equilibrium? When the demand will be equal to supply. See, I have told you that the general nature of market is when the price of the commodities increases, demand decreases. People don't go to buy the product. Okay. Suppose for example, you were buying potato at 20 rupees per kg. Okay. Now you were taking 2 kgs, 3 kgs in a lot. But when all of a sudden the price of potato increases 60 kg, your demand will naturally decrease. Instead of buying 1 kg, you will try to adjust in half kg also. Okay, because the price of the commodity, especially I am talking about essential commodities, has increased. So when price increases, the demand decreases. So the market has its own behavior, and depending upon the quantity demanded and quantity supplied, the price is fixed. But when we are talking about a perfect market, which I have already told you the features of perfect market, here the price will be determined only when the demand equals to supply, and this we tell us the point of equilibrium. Now how the point of equilibrium? Now here the point of equilibrium will come. See, this is, if we put in a graph, this is your price. Okay. Now we are trying to determine the price. This is quantity demanded. Okay, quantity demanded and by supplied. Okay. So this is how. Now price I told 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Then quantity demand 0. It was like somewhere like 10, 20 increasing more. 10, 20, 30. 40, 50. Okay. Now what happens? We are talking about now see, at this particular point we say demand is equal to supply. So when we are fixing the price of a particular commodity, especially in a perfect market, the price of the commodity will be fixed only when demand is equal to supply, or when there will be a point of equilibrium. So you can write here, you can just put here that in a perfect market, you can put like this, in a perfect market, the price of the commodity will be fixed at the point of equilibrium. The point of equilibrium, we call this point of equilibrium, that is when demand is equal to supply. I get my point? So what happens in perfect market? In a perfect market, the price of the commodity will be fixed at the point of equilibrium. Now, you see, if you remember the diagram, the point of equilibrium was 40. So, if suppose I am talking about fixing the price of potato, now it will be finally fixed at rupees 40 per kg, because the demand is equivalent to supply, or demand and supply is equal. So, that is the point of equilibrium. So, in a perfect market, what happens? The price of the commodity will be fixed at a point of equilibrium where the demand is equal to supply. So, this is how in a perfect market the price of the commodity is fixed. So, again I will just brush you up. A perfect market, as I have told you, is a market where there are n numbers, where there are many buyers and sellers, okay, homogeneous product are sold, price cannot be influenced, and everybody is having knowledge on the product. So, when we are talking about perfect market, the price in a perfect market is fixed only when the demand and supply is equal. And once the price is fixed, it will be continuous. So, price cannot be changed from time to time, and the price of the commodity also cannot be influenced by any other factor. So, that is how the perfect market actually operates. Now, let us discuss what is an imperfect market. Okay. Now, let us discuss about an imperfect market. See, imperfect market means the first thing which comes to mind is just the opposite of the perfect market. Now, imperfect market does not have the features of perfect market. Here there will be fluctuation of price, and the buyers and sellers, they are also different, and the nature of market is also different, and the behavior of demand and supply is also different. So, when we are talking about the imperfect market, we have again different types of imperfect market. How? We have market like monopoly market. You must have heard these words, monopoly market. Okay. Then we have duopoly market. I will explain what does it mean, duopoly. Then oligopoly. Then we have here monopolistic competition. Here monopolistic. Okay. Now see, in imperfect market we have different types of market again. Now what are the different types of market? We have monopoly market, we have duopoly market, we have oligopoly market, we have monopolistic competition. So let us discuss one by one. Now first is monopoly. Monopoly means what? The English meaning of monopoly is one. Mono means one person. So monopoly market is a market where there is only one seller. Okay, only single seller. Monopoly market. Okay, monopoly market has only one seller. This is a very important feature of monopoly, one seller. It means that only one seller or one producer is supplying the commodities or goods, and he is actually controlling the entire market. And in a monopoly market, you see there are some restrictions also for the entry of other producers or sellers, because here previously what was happening is, today we have a global market. We are saying today we are talking about global market, but just imagine few hundred years back when the market concept was not so much in was not so popular. Then we had monopoly market. Okay, what was the condition of monopoly market? There was only one seller who was selling the products, and we were bound to buy the products from that one seller. And that particular seller used to dominate the market, and whatever price he used to demand for a particular product, the customer or the buyer did not have any option but to pay the price and buy the product. So that was the condition of a monopoly market. So monopoly market was a market where lot of dominancy was there from the side of the seller. He used to rule the market, he used to fix the price, and whatever price he used to fix, everybody or the buyers were bound to buy the product in that particular price. Now what are the features here? Monopoly. So monopoly market, please remember, has only one seller. Features are, as you can note it down, features are, as I told you, what are the features? Features are only single form, because we are talking a single seller. First feature is a single form. No, there is no close substitute. Just write it down, I'll explain. No close substitutes. Okay, then form and industry are same here. Form and industry are same. Okay, then price making here is different. Price making. And next is your nature, price determination, price making, price determination. Okay, we will discuss those things. Price making and price determination. Okay, now what are the features? See, I told you monopoly market is a market. First remember that monopoly market is coming under the category of imperfect market. Now why we are saying imperfect market? Because the imperfect market does not have the characteristics of a perfect market, where we have numerous buyers and sellers, price is constant, then knowledge about the product is there is rules and regulation for entry and exit. So these were the features of perfect market. But when we are talking about imperfect market does not have the features of a perfect market. It is something different. Now under imperfect market, again we can discuss different types of market, like I told you, monopoly market, duopoly, oligopoly market, and then we have monopolistic competition. Now coming to monopoly market, the name only itself says mono means single. So monopoly market is a single seller, a market where there is a single seller, okay, and there is no close substitute, means you don't have any other, like suppose there is only one single seller, you have to buy the product from that seller only. There was no close substitute. So one of the important feature here is there is no close substitute. Like suppose you want to buy some product and the price of the product is too high, then you don't have any option, you have to buy the product. Are you getting the point? Like यहाँ पे एक ही आदमी है जो कि सेल कर रहा है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि तो आपके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, तो आपको प्रोडक्ट उसी से ही खरीदना है. अगर वो प्राइस कुछ ज्यादा है फिर भी आपको वो ज्यादा प्राइस देके प्रोडक्ट है, बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव एनी ऑप्शन एंड ही इज अ सिंगल सेलर. इट इज अ मोनोपोली मार्केट. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट मोनोपोली मार्केट वेयर देयर इज अ सिंगल सेलर. यू डोंट हैव एनी अदर ऑप्शन आल्सो. देन second is there are strong barriers, means in a monopoly market nobody can enter, because the person who is the only person selling the products, he tries to rules or govern the market. So there is strict restrictions into entry of the market, and the single seller is person who dominates the entire market. He will never allow anybody else to enter the market, because once second person enters to the market, there will be some kind of competition and his importance may decrease. So in a monopoly market there is only one person and there is no entry for others, and price determination is done by the seller himself. And in a monopoly market, another important feature you have to remember is that the person who is a single seller is into making lot of profits. He can make lot of profit, because why he can generate or why he can maximize profit, because he is the only person who determines the price of the product. So it depends upon him. Suppose he increases the price of the product, he may have numerous profit for himself. So this is an example of the monopoly market, and you see that in a monopoly market, the price, as I told you, price is determined by the person himself. Therefore, the curve, you will get a U-shaped curve, or you will get a U-shaped curve in a monopoly market, because the price is not dependent upon the demand or the supply. Because with respect to your perfect market, what was the condition we have observed is, in perfect market the price is determined at the point of equilibrium where demand and supply is equal. But what happens here is, in your imperfect market, and that too in a monopoly market, the seller himself is responsible for fixing the price. So you get a U curve. Okay, so you get a U curve like this, a curve you'll get. Okay, when you're talking about this curve will be like this when you're talking about the price determination in case of a monopoly market. Now why it is so? Because in a monopoly market, there is no entry of anybody else, there are no such restrictions, and the person himself is responsible to determine the price. So he makes maximum profit by determining the price. Okay. Then comes to the next part we will discuss is monopolistic competition. So from monopoly only the word has come as monopolistic competition. So give the heading as monopolistic competition. Okay. So the concept of monopolist competition was given by Professor Chamberlain. Okay. Okay. He has given the concept, and it is a market having many sellers, and it is a different. So a monopolistic competition market. This is monopolistic competition market. This is your second category. Your first was your monopoly market. Remember, monopoly market we had only one seller. Okay, but now we are talking about the second type of imperfect market, that is a monopolistic competition market. Now the features. Now let us see what is exactly a monopolistic competition market. Now monopolistic competition market, this concept was actually developed by Professor Chamberlain, and he said that here there are many sellers but different aspects. Presence of many sellers with different aspects. Okay. Now come to the features. Now what are the features? What were the features of monopolistic? Features. Features are, number one, it is there are considerable number of producers. We can put the features here one by one. Features. Number one is considerable number of producers. Okay, considerable number of producers are there. Product differentiation is there. That means there varieties of products are there, many types of products are there. Product differentiation. Then entry and exit is there, like a perfect market. Entry and exit of market. Okay, then what? Then we have, say, there is a selling cost. Selling cost is there, and imperfect knowledge of market. Okay, now see, and last is your price decision. Your price decision. Price decision. Okay. Now see, Now we are talking about the first example of first category under monopoly market, and the imperfect market was a monopoly market, and the second example is a monopolistic competition market. Now the concept of monopolistic competition market was given by Professor Chamberlain, where he explained that this is a market where there are many producers, but here the characteristics and features of market is quite different. Now what he has explained here is there are considered number of producers. That means here there is not only one person, but there are considered number of producers. Product differentiation is there. Product differentiation means there are variety of products, there are various types of products available in the market. Okay. Third is there is entry and exit of market. So entry and exit of the market is, entry and exit means there are certain rules regulations to entry and exit of the market. Why? Because there are number of producers. But if you see in the monopoly market, there was only one seller. That was we call monopoly. But here we are talking about there are many producers who are into the process of business or into process of exchange of goods and services. Then there is a selling cost. Okay. And here one of the striking feature is that people don't have the knowledge of the market. That is imperfect knowledge. And price decision when it is being taken in a monopolistic market, the price decision may vary depending upon the market conditions. Okay, but what used to happen in perfect market, the price was determined when at the point of equilibrium, because we know when demand is equal to supply, the price will be fixed at that point. But in a monopolistic competition market, here the feature is quite different. Selling cost may differ, product differentiation is there, imperfect knowledge of market is there, and another important thing is here the price decision is something very different. It depends upon the market conditions. Okay. Then comes your duopoly market where two sellers. Okay. The number 3 is, we finish up this duopoly. Duopoly market means, duo means two, where two sellers are there. Sellers are present in the market. Known as duopoly market. Monopoly means one seller, duopoly two sellers are present in market. Then we have your last one is your oligopoly market. Now oligopoly market, actually oligopoly market, the word has been, oligo means few and few sellers. Now that means like oligopoly means we are talking about a market where the people are few and they are specific in selling one particular thing, like you say automobile sector, okay, automobile industry or gas industry. So we can say that these will come under the definition of oligopoly where there are few sellers. Oligopoly market means where few sellers are present. Few sellers are present. Example, gas industry or automobile industry. I get my point. Features are here. Now you can just note down the features. Let us discuss the features and we'll wind up. Features are here. There are less number of firms. Okay. Features we can put here. Features. Features. Less number of firms. Okay. Interdependence. That means they are dependent on other firms also. Selling cost is different. Okay, selling cost. Your selling cost is different and they are having uncertainty in their behavior with rigid price. Uncertainty and rigid price. Rigid price means the price cannot be changed at any cost. So the features of oligopoly market, see oligopoly means where few sellers are there, okay, is a type of imperfect market, And the features I explained, like they have less number of firms, very fair to the gas industry, automobile sector. Then uncertainty is very high because we don't know what will happen to the demand and supply at which point of time. Then they are interdependent on other industries. Price is very rigid. The selling cost is there, but price is very rigidly fixed. Okay, so there is no question of change in price, no question of bargaining, and no question of any differentiation of price. So price is very rigid. So these are few examples of your different kinds of market. Next class we are going to discuss the fixation of price of this imperfect market, and then we will discuss some of the important curves, and then we will complete your chapter on market, and then we will move to the next topic. So before I wind up today, let me just tell you what we have discussed in today's class. In today's class we have, just for your understanding, for today's class we have tried to discuss the concept of market. What is market? I told you the meaning of market. Then I explained you that what does market exactly mean in economics. Then what are the types of market based upon the locality, like local market, national, international market, then based on time frame, very short period, long period. And then we discussed about the market based on competition, your perfect market and imperfect market. Then I told you the features of perfect market, okay, how it operates. Then we talked about the imperfect market. Again, imperfect market, we have monopoly market, and we have duopoly, we have oligopoly, and we have monopolistic market. So these are the different kinds of under imperfect market. And remember that when we are talking about perfect market, there the price fixation or differentiation is done when the demand is equal to supply. But when there is a question of your imperfect market, here depending upon the nature of market, that suppose I told like oligopoly, here the price is quite rigid, but in a monopoly the price is fixed by the single seller. Duopoly means there are two sellers. So depending upon the nature of the market, the price is fixed. And next class we will try to understand in a graphical manner how the price determination is done in imperfect market, and we will try to discuss some of the important curves and some of the important terms of the chapter market. Is it clear? Have a nice day. Try to recollect whatever I have discussed in the class. Try to understand it. This chapter is quite easy. I don't think you'll feel any, you'll have any problems. You have to remember the fundamental idea or the concepts. Okay. Once you understand this, you can, whatever questions come, you can easily write or you can understand. So thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you.